Hello, in this video I'd like to cover the map view tools. It is a part of the main toolbar, though it's actually a toolbar in and of itself that you can turn on and off. So you can see here, map view tools. So I'm right clicking, I can turn that off and on right here. So let's go straight into it. First one from the left is pan mode. So pan mode, you're most likely not going to need to come up here and click on this all too often, but you can, and it activates pan mode. So I'm just going to go back to regular selection because there's two other ways to pan. First way is with the scroll wheel center button. So on your mouse, if you have a scroll wheel, you most likely have a button there as well, and if you push that in, it essentially activates pan mode, grabs that map fabric, and you can kind of just start panning around. So quick and easy way to do that. If you don't have a center button there, you can hold the space bar down and that activates pan mode temporarily. So you hold that down and then click to pan. So two ways to kind of pan around the map there. You can also do Alt V, View, M, Map, P, Pan to activate pan mode. So keystroke users may be used to that and may still want to use that, but with the center wheel, I think most people are going to be able to just quickly navigate around the map that way. And let's just go through the rest of these here. Single selection can be used to select multiple features if you're holding down shift, that is, but in most cases you won't really need to use single selection because the select box can be used for single selection. The most important thing to remember about the single select tool is that if you have an overlapping feature, I'm just going to add another regen feature over these existing regen features. So now I've got these regen features that cover or are covered by this regen feature. So if I'm in select box, which I'm in now, and I click here where the overlap is, you can see my G cell is now up to 2. So if I wanted to just select one of those, I would really need to use the single select. And so now if I click in this overlapping area, it gives me the option to keep one or the other. So if I don't want that one, I can choose that one and click yes. So that's kind of the main use for single select now. And we also have draw selection, so you can draw a more accurate polygon. You can see there I double clicked a little bit too quick, so double click will finish that. So there's my polygon, double click and it will select. Draw box is the new default. So after using any other tool function, you close a window, close the A, B, any of that, it will default back to select box. And you can see here I'm just clicking once and it will select that feature. So the main benefit there is you can make a single selection pretty quickly, or you can draw a rectangle and anything that rectangle touches it will select. So of course you can use control to deselect or shift to add to the selection with that. And as is the same with all of these, there's keyboard shortcuts to that. So Alt, View, Map, you can do pan, you can zoom in, out. If I had a selection, you could do View, Map, C for chosen, reset, undo, and well, zoom XY is not on here, but we'll cover that later. So if I have a selection, you can deselect here, clear selection. You can do zoom with this, and that stays active, so you can kind of do a marquee style zoom if you want. You can click multiple times quickly. You can, really the only use for this now is just for like kind of a more accurate marquee style zoom, because if you have a mouse, the zoom is active with the scroll wheel. So zoom in, zoom out on the scroll wheel. You don't need to use any of the keyboard shortcuts, and you don't need to select this. You can stay in selection mode with the draw box, and you can zoom in and out with the scroll wheel. So that's a real big time saver. So you can also go previous and forward. So I'm panning to the left here. So now if I want to go back to where I was, you can do previous extent. And so you can see I'm kind of going to the right there now. Same thing with wanting to get back. So I have to go back first, but you can go forward and backward. So here's backward and here's forward. Zoom to chosen. There's also a button up here for that. Looks like, yeah, zoom to chosen. And map info button, which there's another video on feature info and EAP, but you still can use this tool and it will highlight the feature that you're viewing the feature information for. There's a whole nother video on feature info, so I'm not going to go into detail now, but that is still a button and you still can access that with EAB or EAP, sorry. And escape if you want to just go back to select box. And lastly, the newest addition is a pause labels option. So this is more of a special use case button. Exporting to GeoPDF requires that your labels are always on, and that if you wanted to do a full scale, you may end up with thousands of labels active. So if I press pause labels, you can see that that label is no longer drawing. It will still print. Labels are fairly heavy to draw. They're usually calculating a centroid, or they're part of a point layer that has a ton of features. So pausing labels can speed up the program in certain situations. So we do have that button there. And that's it for the view tools, view map tools. So stay tuned for more videos covering all the toolbars. Thank you.